There is a truth about life that most people overlook. It isn't lack of opportunities that holds people back. It's the lack of discipline to carry any opportunity to its end. The world is full of talented people who never get anywhere because they believe talent or luck is enough. But talent without discipline is like building a house on unstable ground. Eventually it collapses. Discipline is the invisible foundation beneath every success. Without it, everything else crumbles. With it, even ordinary people can achieve extraordinary things. That's the first key I want to share with you today. If you're listening now, maybe you've felt this difference yourself. You've started projects with excitement, learning a new skill, changing your health, starting a new business, only to see the energy fade after a few weeks. What felt unstoppable at the beginning quickly turned heavy, almost impossible to carry. This is the cycle most people live in. They start strong, quit fast, and never reach the point where results begin to appear. But here's the paradox. The hardest part is not the skill itself. It's crossing that desert before results show up. Those who endure long enough to build discipline before motivation disappears are the ones who finally see the fruits of their work. Let me make a simple invitation before we go deeper. If you want to keep learning lessons like this, practical, philosophy that applies to your daily life, subscribe to this channel right now. This isn't a space for empty motivational slogans. It's for those who want real change and are willing to listen, reflect, and apply. If that's you, you'll feel at home here. Now, why is discipline so difficult to sustain? It's not about ability or intelligence. It's about how we've been trained by the modern world. Everything today is designed for instant reward. You press a button and food arrives. You tap a screen and new entertainment plays. Notifications feed you every second, pulling you in every direction. This constant loop teaches your brain to expect immediate pleasure. But discipline works in the opposite way. It demands patience, effort, and delayed reward. It's planting a seed today and waiting months, even years before harvest. That's the real conflict. Your biology craves now, but life requires later. Ancient philosophies understood this long before smartphones existed. The samurai trained not just in swordsmanship, but in enduring discomfort and boredom without breaking. For them, discipline wasn't punishment, it was honor. Buddhist monks sat in meditation, not to escape reality, but to train the mind to stay calm under discomfort. Even the Stoics in the West said that true freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you want, but from mastering yourself. Different cultures, different times, but the same conclusion. Discipline is the foundation of any true path. The problem is that most people confuse discipline with suffering. They think it means cutting all joy from life, living mechanically or suppressing emotions, but that's a misunderstanding. Discipline isn't about denying life, it's about organizing it. It's not the absence of freedom, it's freedom with structure. Without discipline, you're like a boat without a rudder, drifting in whatever direction the wind blows. With discipline, you can face storms and still move toward your chosen destination. Let me share a story that captures this. A student once asked his master, "What is the secret of victory?" The master replied, "Victory doesn't belong to the strongest, but to the one who stays on the path after everyone else has quit." That's discipline in a single sentence. You don't have to be the smartest, the most creative, or the luckiest. You simply have to keep going when others give up. Life rewards persistence more than brilliance. Here's another trap many fall into. They tell themselves, "I'm just not a disciplined person. I can't focus, I don't have the right habits." But this is just an excuse dressed up as truth. Discipline is not something you're born with. It's something you build. Every act of self-control is like lifting a small weight. At first it feels weak, almost pointless. Saving a small amount of money when you earn little feels ridiculous. Studying for half an hour when the subject is vast feels useless. But just like compound interest, the secret is in the accumulation. Discipline starts invisible, but it becomes unbreakable if you repeat it long enough. So why do so few people keep going? Impatience. They want results immediately. They plant a seed and expect fruit the next morning. When nothing happens, they quit. Impatience has destroyed more dreams than lack of talent ever did. People often know exactly what they should do, but they abandon the process because the harvest isn't instant. They forget that every field takes time to grow. The secret is trusting the process before you can see the results. Let me put it clearly. Discipline isn't about doing something huge in a short time. It's about repeating small actions for a very long time. It's not about winning today. It's about still being on the path tomorrow. Once you understand this, discipline stops feeling like a burden and starts feeling like a kind of freedom. Because while others are constantly starting and stopping, you quietly keep moving forward. So here's the first truth I want you to hold on to. If life feels confusing, if results feel far away, it's not because you lack intelligence or talent. It's because you haven't built the ability to remain steady when motivation disappears. If you can cross that first barrier, you've already separated yourself from the majority who only dream but never build. The real test of discipline doesn't happen when you feel motivated. Anyone can start strong when excitement is fresh. The test begins the moment that energy runs out. That's when people stop and say, maybe I wasn't meant for this. Maybe it's too hard. Maybe I'll try something else. But if you understand one thing, let it be this: the moment you feel like quitting is usually the exact moment you need to stay. Quitting too early is why so many lives stay stuck at zero. Think about your daily life. Why do people fail at discipline? It's not because they're lazy or incapable. It's because their lives are built without structure. They go to bed late, wake up rushing, eat whatever is available, scroll for hours, and then wonder why they can't concentrate. That's not a lack of willpower, it's poor design. You can't expect discipline to survive in chaos. To sustain discipline, you must engineer your environment. Start with the basics: energy. A tired mind makes bad decisions. If your sleep is broken, if you fill your body with junk, if you never move, discipline becomes a constant uphill battle. That's why the ancient masters always linked body and mind. A samurai sharpened his blade, but he also sharpened his stamina. A monk sat in stillness, but he also walked for miles. They knew that discipline isn't a mental trick. It's rooted in how you treat your body. Respect your energy and discipline becomes easier. Neglect it and every task feels impossible. Then comes time. Modern life has stolen our sense of time. Notifications, endless messages, distractions, they slice your attention into pieces. You think you're working, but you're constantly restarting. That's why so many people finish the day exhausted, but with nothing meaningful done. Discipline demands protected time. You need blocks where nothing else exists except the one thing you've chosen. 90 minutes without interruptions is worth more than 10 hours of scattered half-focus. If you can guard your time, you can build discipline almost automatically. But even with energy and time, there's another enemy: attention. In today's world, attention is the most valuable resource you have, and the one most under attack. Social media, advertising, and entertainment all fight for it. If you give it away freely, don't be surprised when you can't stay disciplined. Protecting your attention is protecting your future. This is why masters created rituals: a clear desk, a scroll with a single phrase, a candle lit before meditation. These small acts told the mind, now is the time to focus. Modern people need the same. Clear the noise, set the stage, and you'll find discipline less of a struggle and more of a rhythm. Now let's talk about money, because it's where discipline is tested daily. Most people spend everything they earn. They buy now, promise to save later, and later never comes. This isn't just financial weakness, it's a discipline failure. Saving money isn't about numbers. It's about building the muscle of delayed gratification. It's telling yourself, I don't need the shiny thing today. I'd rather have freedom tomorrow. This is why so many never reach their first $100,000, as Charlie Munger said. Because saving at the beginning feels pointless. You put away a little, and it grows so slowly that you feel like a fool. But that slow growth is exactly the training. If you can keep saving when it feels useless, you've already built the habit that will eventually make you free. The same principle applies to learning. Everyone wants quick results. A new language in 30 days, a skill in a weekend, success overnight. But real learning doesn't work that way. Real learning comes from repetition, boredom, mistakes, and review. It feels slow, but it compounds. The ones who endure the slow part eventually accelerate past everyone else. This is where most quit, not because they can't, but because they can't tolerate the boredom of steady progress. They want fireworks, not embers. But the ember that burns slowly is the one that lasts. Here's a truth few people admit. Boredom is the biggest killer of discipline. Not pain, not difficulty, boredom. People can endure pain for a goal, but boredom feels meaningless. That's why so many abandon habits, not because they were too hard, but because they became dull. The cure is to learn to love small progress, to see value in quiet repetition, to measure not by how exciting it feels, but by how consistent it is. Greatness doesn't come from one big moment. It comes from countless small moments nobody sees. There's another conflict, people. The company you keep can destroy your discipline faster than any distraction. If your friends laugh at your focus, if your circle spends recklessly, if the people around you chase distractions, you will eventually follow them. Not because you're weak, but because humans are built to imitate. The samurai chose their clan carefully. Monks chose their community carefully. You must do the same. You don't need many allies, just a few who respect your path. Without them, you'll spend more time defending your discipline than practicing it. And let's be honest, you will fail at times. You will break your routine, waste money, skip the study, stay up too late. Many people take this as proof that they can't be disciplined. But failure is not proof of weakness. It's proof that you're human. The difference is how quickly you recover. Those who succeed don't avoid mistakes. They just recover faster. They don't punish themselves with guilt or quit altogether. They reset the next day. They treat failure as feedback, not as a final sentence. Numbers can help here. Track the few things that matter: hours of focus, money saved, skills practiced, sleep achieved. Simple metrics, nothing complicated, because what gets measured gets improved. You don't need apps or fancy tools, just honesty. Write it down. See the truth. It will cut through excuses and show you progress, even when it feels invisible. Now let's face the hardest truth. People don't fail at discipline because they lack intelligence, but because they lack patience. They want shortcuts. They want applause. They want results before effort, but the world doesn't work like that. The world rewards those who stay when others leave, who save when others spend, who practice when others distract themselves. So the conflict is clear. Discipline is simple in theory, but brutal in practice. It's not about knowing what to do, it's about doing what you already know, long after the excitement is gone. And until you accept that, you'll keep repeating the same cycle. Starting, quitting, restarting, quitting. The path forward is to embrace the boredom. Protect your time, guard your attention, save when it feels pointless, and keep going when everyone else has stopped. If you're still here with me, I want you to leave a sign. Write in the comments, "Silent commitment." That phrase will mark you as someone who is serious enough to stay through the middle, the hardest part of the journey, the part where most people disappear. And if you can stay here, you can stay on any path you choose. Life often feels like an endless series of choices, and every day you face the same quiet question: do I keep going or do I give up? Discipline is nothing more than answering that question the same way, over and over. I keep going. It sounds simple, almost too simple, but it's the hardest truth most people will ever learn. Not because they don't understand it, but because they don't live it. And yet, once you accept it, everything begins to shift. The first shift is identity. At first, discipline feels like something you are trying to practice. It feels foreign, like a costume you're putting on. But the longer you practice, the more it stops being an act and starts being who you are. You no longer think, I need to be disciplined. Instead, you simply are disciplined. It's no longer about forcing yourself every day. It's about alignment. Your habits, your values, and your actions begin to line up naturally. This transformation is the point where discipline turns from a burden into freedom. The second shift is perspective. When you live without discipline, every challenge feels like a crisis. You're always reacting, always rushing, always feeling behind. But when you live with discipline, challenges stop being surprises. They become part of the path. You expect difficulty. You accept it. And because you accept it, you move through it. Life stops being a storm that pushes you around and starts being a journey that you are steering. The world doesn't get easier, but you get stronger. The third shift is freedom. People often confuse freedom with doing whatever they want, but that's not freedom, it's chaos. Real freedom is when you've built such stability inside yourself that external circumstances can't easily shake you. Financial freedom comes when you've saved consistently, even when it felt small. Mental freedom comes when you've trained your attention and are no longer a prisoner of every distraction. Emotional freedom comes when you've stopped comparing yourself to others and focused instead on your own path. These freedoms are not given. They are earned through the boring, unglamorous work of daily discipline. Now, let's talk about mistakes. You will make them. I will make them. Everyone will. You will spend when you should have saved. You will skip when you should have practiced. You will get distracted when you should have focused. But here is the paradox. Mistakes don't destroy you if you have discipline. In fact, discipline absorbs mistakes. Why? Because discipline is not perfection, it's persistence. One mistake cannot defeat you if you continue the next day. Discipline is stronger than any single error because it is built on repetition, not on flawless execution. Here is where philosophy becomes practical. The Stoics said, "The obstacle is the way." The Zen master said, "Fall 7 times, rise 8. These are not poetic lines. They are operating instructions. They tell you exactly what to do when you fail. Rise, continue, persist. The ones who succeed are not those who never fall. They are the ones who never stay down. That is the final advantage of discipline. It guarantees that failure is never permanent. Let's look at the larger picture. Most people spend their lives chasing shortcuts. They look for the magic formula, the secret hack, the one trick that will make life easy. They waste years chasing illusions when the truth was in front of them the entire time. Spend less than you earn, practice more than you consume, stay when others quit, and be patient when others panic. These truths are not glamorous. They don't sparkle, but they work. And because they work, they build the kind of life that others will one day look at with envy, while you quietly know that it wasn't luck or genius, but discipline. This is why I say that discipline is the root of all lasting change. Without it, you can't save, you can't learn, you can't focus, you can't grow. With it, even small steps compound into a powerful life. Discipline is the engine of compounding, not just of money, but of skill, of wisdom, of peace. The longer you keep it alive, the stronger it becomes, until it carries you further than you ever imagined. Now let me leave you with something practical to remember. If you want to live a disciplined life, don't rely on motivation. Motivation fades. Build systems instead. A system is a routine, a ritual, a structure that carries you even when you don't feel like moving. Go to bed at the same time. Wake up at the same time. Protect one block of deep work each day. Set aside 1% of your income no matter what. Review your progress once a week. These are not dramatic. They are boring. And that's exactly why they work. There's another truth. You don't need to be perfect at discipline. You just need to be better than the average person at avoiding the obvious traps. Don't waste money trying to impress others. Don't drown in distractions. Don't surround yourself with people who make discipline harder. Avoid these 3 poisons: envy, noise, and bad company, and you'll already be ahead of most of the world. The secret is not brilliance, it's refusing stupidity. At the end of this journey, you will realize something surprising. Discipline not only changes what you achieve, it changes who you are. It gives you pride without arrogance, peace without weakness, strength without noise. It makes you someone others can rely on. It makes you someone you can rely on. And that, perhaps, is the rarest freedom of all, to know that when life tests you, you will not collapse, because you have already built the foundation inside yourself. So I will leave you with one final challenge. Don't aim to look disciplined. Aim to be disciplined. Don't chase the applause of others. Chase the quiet satisfaction of knowing you kept your word to yourself. Don't wait for the world to become easier. Build yourself to become stronger. Discipline will not make life painless, but it will make life meaningful. And meaning is worth more than comfort. If you stayed with me until the very end, I want you to leave a sign. Write in the comments, "Discipline is the root." That phrase will mark you as someone who has not only listened, but endured through the full lesson, someone ready to apply it. And if you can do that here, you can do it in your life.